Hello. Today we're going to go over how to complete the 2015-2016 Health Sciences Financial Aid application. The first thing that you need to do is open up a browser. I'm using Safari, but you can use any browser, whether that be Firefox, Chrome, Opera, or Internet Explorer. What you want to do is type in bisonweb.howard.edu because the application this year will be accessible only through your Bison Web account. You can log in with your ID number and your password. And please note that if you do not have your ID number or your password, or you are having difficulty logging in, you need to first make sure that you are first entering the @ symbol and then your ID number. And if you're still having issues or you forgot your PIN, you can click this button to determine what your PIN number is if it has already been set up. And if not, you can call 202-806-2020, which is the help desk, and they can help you reset your password and locate your ID. All right, after you log in, you want to go to Financial Aid, click Eligibility, Student Requirements. You want to select the aid year, which will be 2015-2016. Click Submit, and you should have the Health Sciences application for financial assistance. Once you click this, it's going to take you to a separate website called DocuSign. This is the beginning of the process of completing the application. Here, we want you to type in your name, and I will use my name, and an email address. This email address, if you have questions about the application only, or are having difficulty completing the application, you can use this email address and I will respond to any questions that you have. All right, you click Begin Signing, and what it will happen is that DocuSign will send you an access code to the email address that you entered. And once you receive the email with that access code, all you need to do is copy and paste that access code into the field here. And so it should be arriving pretty soon. And yes, so my access code is E. And once entered, just hit validate, and it'll take you to the application. Now here, see, there's the email. Here it asks you to review the documents. When you click this button, you will also have a link right here to the video that you're currently watching. So if you need help, if you are completing the document and you need video instructions, there will be a link here and you'll be able to copy and paste that into a browser so you can watch while you're completing. It's also important that you should read the electronic record and signature disclosure so that you're aware of the legalities of what you're about to do as far as completing information online and submitting it to Howard University. It is on a secure server, and only myself, the financial aid manager for the College of Dentistry and Pharmacy, and also the manager for the College of Medicine will be able to look at these documents. After you agree, you click Continue, and you can begin applying. The first page is filled with general information about financial aid. You can visit this link for more information about the types of aid programs offered at Howard University. We also want to iterate that we do hope that you are honest when you complete this application, and that if you do accept the award, that you do have options after you accept it as far as changing your mind. However, any changes in any action should first be viewed and thought about via your Bison Web account. Also with financial obligations, of course, when you matriculate through school, you do have to settle your financial obligations before you begin class. Some notes pertaining to this application. You do have to complete all fields. Again, you do have to complete all fields in this application, regardless of health discipline. However, if a particular section does not apply to you, then you can enter NA or not applicable, or select the no option if there is an option for you to select. However, if you do select not applicable or no for an option, or for a question rather, that is applicable to your discipline, your application will be deemed incomplete and we will move on to the next student. The first thing you need to do before you complete this application is fill out your FAFSA if you are eligible. And you do that via fafsa.gov. You can simply open a new tab in your browser and visit all of the links that are here. If you need to start a new one, you just click this button. It takes about 30 minutes to complete. If you are renewing an application, you can just log in. And once you enter your name, social, birth date, it'll take you to also a PIN number, and you just enter your FAFSA PIN number, and you can resubmit your application for the upcoming year. That time usually takes about 10 minutes since it uses the same information that you used last year. For those who are trying to seek federal funds based on possible disadvantaged statuses, we do need parental information filled out in your FAFSA, so it will automatically guide you to skip over that information. You need to elect to voluntarily place that information in the application. Without this information, we will not consider you for scholarships and possible loans based on disadvantaged statuses. And you can read here about who we generally deem are of disadvantaged status. Of course, after you complete your FAFSA, you'll get a STAR, or a student aid report, that will detail the findings that the government has determined based on the information you have entered. And for medical students, one of the options, financial aid options that's available to you, is the primary care loan. Those are for students who want to contractually commit to primary care training and practice after you have graduated at medical school. There's more information about that further on in the application, and we'll get to that in a second. Again, if you have any questions about the application, you can use this email address to contact me. If you're having issues, you can use this email address to contact me, and I'll gladly help you. But if you have general questions about financial aid within your health discipline, you would contact Dr. Aitchison for medical students. Dentistry and pharmacy students, contact myself. And allied health and nursing, please call the main financial aid office. All right, to the instructions. When you watch this video, this link will be the link to this video. So again, if you're having issues, you can click this link, or if for some reason you forgot the video that you're currently watching and you need to access it again, the link here will take you to the video. And again, if a section does not apply to you, just simply enter NA or select the no option, but mind the disclaimer here. All right, for section A, we just ask general information about your name and your Howard ID number, and general demographic information. Here we ask that you do self-identify, and the prompts for that will be further below, and that you make sure that you complete every question that we ask. When you get to question 12, we're going to ask that you analyze and assess the amount of outside aid that you'll get from parties outside of Howard University, and place that information in there. And for question 13, we're going to ask about your current aggregate debt. And so we're going to ask that you give us the amount of debt that you currently have under your name, so that we can use that in our calculations. And we'll come back up here for section B later on. All right, so this is the first page of the application. There are actually only 2 pages, and we're going to just begin. There are helpful hints and tips as you click along to each question. So if you are having difficulty understanding what the question is asking of you, when you click on the specific box or um, drop down menu, it'll tell you what it wants from you. The first question is to um, supply us with your ID number. There's an example there. We'll just use that example. The enrollment period for which you need aid. Some people only need aid for specific semesters, while others need it for the entire year. We're going to assume that you need it for the entire year for the purposes of this tutorial. And the third question asks, which type of aid are you applying? Sorry about that being over there. And if you are not seeking financial aid of any sort from Howard University, you can simply select no aid. This application is a requirement of all matriculating students in the health sciences, regardless of your resources. So you can select no aid, scholarships only, or scholarships and federal aid. The purpose, some students only borrow to or get awarded to cover tuition and fees only, while some use it to cover other expenses in addition to tuition and fees. And again, this option is for those who can pay out of pocket, but you select what you're using your aid for. And for this purpose, we'll say just tuition and fees. The next question asks, what health profession are you in? You're either in medicine, dentistry, pharmacy, or allied health. If you're completing this application, for this, we'll select pharmacy. And the student classification. So, of course, if you're a pharmacy student, you will know that you are in the P category. So you're either P1, 2, 3, or 4. We'll say that this is a P2. Of course, medicine is M, dentistry is D. Allied health usually identified by the traditional freshman, sophomore, junior, senior classifications. The email address that you provided is automatically populated here, in addition to your first and last name. What we won't have, of course, is your middle initial, so you can just put that in there, and I'll do that. The next question starts with the self-identifying questions that I brought up earlier. This question asks, are you a person of Cuban, Mexican, Puerto Rican, South or Central America, or Spanish cultural origin, regardless of race? And you can either self-identify as yes or no. We'll say yes for this case. And regardless of what you answer for question 9, we need you to answer question 10, which is to select as many racial categories that you self-identify. If you need instructions or definitions of the racial categories, we have them further up in the instructions. And if you choose to identify as multiracial, we ask that you select the multiracial option, but then click which races you want to identify as. So again, if you select multiracial, you then select what other, or what that comprises of, whether it's 1, 2, 3, whatever. If you identify as Asian, we do ask that you specify your ethnicity. So an example would be Chinese, or we'll say Japanese in this case, or whatever applies. For question 12, we ask that you, again, assess the amount of outside aid that you'll be receiving. This is aid that's not received via the FAFSA, so this is not your unsubsidized loan or your Grad Plus loan. This will be things outside of that. So we'll just say that we expect to get around $9,000. For question 13, we ask that you provide your current loan indebtedness. So for federal loans, we define this as subsidized, unsubsidized, and Grad Plus loans. For university loans, we define this as institutional loans, so that would be long-term loans if you're attending Howard, primary care loans, health professions loans, and disadvantaged student loans for the university section. And then private loans, of course, are loans that you get from private lenders outside of the university. For this question, students tend to have to seek help with this. And so we have a link here that takes you to the National Student Loan Data System that has a record of all of the federal loans that you've ever borrowed. So all you have to do is log that in there, and SLDS. And this is the data system that houses all of your loan information. You would click Financial Aid Review, accept, and then enter in the necessary demographic information, including your FAFSA PIN, so that you can access the data that has all of your loan information. And there you can look up information regarding who your loan servicer is with your federal loan, how much interest has accrued. There's contact information to the lenders. There's also information about how much you borrowed and when the money was dispersed. Once you compile all the information, you add all that up. We then ask you to come back and enter in the aggregate amounts. So let's say this person has borrowed only $95,000. And again, university loans would be institutional or health professional loans. We'll say that this person didn't receive any. But private loans, of course, you have to check your own records for those. But we want you to compile those amounts as well and enter them here. And we'll say this person borrowed $5,000 during their undergraduate one time. And then we're all set and finished with section A. Afterward, we have section B, which is about familial demographics. So the first question is regarding a non-custodial parent. So if for some reason your parents have separated or divorced, we ask that you give us the name of the parent that does not have custody over you or does not have primary custody over you. If your parents had joint custody, what you can enter in is the person you spent least amount of time with growing up. And of course, if this doesn't apply, you can just type in NA. So we'll just say Jane Doe for this. And if it is a divorce or separation, we ask that you give us the year, and we'll say 1989 for this purpose. If your non-custodial parent is supporting you, we ask that you give us an estimate of how much you expect. So in this case, it's $5,000, and that would be for the entire academic year. Afterward, we want some information about both your parents or guardians. So we want to know their educational background and their occupation. So let's say parent 1, you can denote, we don't care what the denotation is, but you can denote 1 as parent 1 guardian or parent 2 guardian. And we'll say the first parent or guardian has a bachelor's, and we'll say the second has an advanced degree. And so, of course, we want you to enter in the occupation. We'll say parent 1 is an administrator assistant. Admin assistant. And again, if you reach a limit, just go ahead and shorten the title of the occupation. And we'll say the second parent is a dentist. All right, after that, we need to know if you've lived in a mostly urban or rural area. So if you've lived in either a city or in a rural area, we ask that you select yes. If not, then select no. If you do select yes, we want to know the county, city, and state or province. And so we'll say this person lived in Charles County, Maryland. Well, actually the city, Charles County, they live in Waldorf, Maryland. We do not need the zip code. And again, more information about this section is right here. All right, question 20, or rather, 20. If you've answered question 19 with a value, we want to know whether or not this is a designated section that the government deems a health profession shortage area. So in order to discover the answer to this question, you will have to refer to the instructions right here. And here This just goes over what is considered a health profession shortage area. Right here are the instructions of how to figure this out. So you'll need to go to this website called Melissa Data. There it is. Okay, sorry about that. Address verify. We don't need to enter the name. We just need to enter your street address, your city, state, and zip code. As this says, enter street address, city, and or the street address and zip code. So we'll make up something. We'll say I'll put the zip code. And we'll hit submit. And then we want to make sure that it says address verified. And also what we want to look at is the information right here. Specifically, we want to look at the tract number. And the tract number is located right here. So we want to copy and paste that. See it. And once we've copied it, we want to go to this web address, which is hpsafind.hrsa.gov. And once we go here, we want to select the state where we live. And so we said we lived in Maryland. The county, we said we lived in Charles County. And we want to select the profession that we are currently studying. So for medical students, you would select primary medical care. For pharmacy students, you would also select primary medical care. And dental students select dental. So we do this. And in this space is where we enter our tract number. So we can just paste it right there. And then we click Show Me the HPSAs, which are the health professional shortage areas. Actually, before you do so, just make sure you take out that dot. All right, and here is the table that you receive. Sometimes this has records of all of the tract numbers in that area, and sometimes it doesn't. If it doesn't have a record, that means that your area is not deemed a health professional shortage area. If there are lists of tract numbers there, what we want you to do is to scroll down the table until you find the tract number that you pasted there. If you find your number, then that is considered a health professional shortage area, and we want you to enter that answer into the answer for question number 21. So for this purpose, unfortunately, we were not in that area, so all we have to do is select in or put in NA for question number 21. If we did live in an area, we would select yes, and then we would enter in the tract number, which is right there. All right, for those who may have extenuating circumstances and want to detail them, we do have a space provided for you. We ask that you be concise because you do have a character limit. So just make sure that you expound on any circumstances that you want us to know about while we make our decision regarding your package. That is the main portion of the application. The second part are the addendums. So if you are a pharmacy student, we ask that you complete this portion here, dentistry, this portion here, and medicine, this portion down below. Regardless of your health profession, we ask that you put in a value for each section. So if the section does not pertain to you, so if you're a medical student, of course you do not have to complete these sections with answers, or rather with values, but we do want you to note that you need to put NA so that we know to ignore this section for you when we're reviewing the data. If you are not, or rather if it does pertain to you, we do ask that you complete these sections. Again, all fields have to have a value. Or rather, all questions have to have a value associated with them. So if you're a pharmacy student, you can tell us what leadership positions you've been in while you're at school. And then also, if you've been employed and where you work, we also ask that you identify what type of pharmacy you're interested in. And so if you're not a pharmacy student, then you can just select NA, along with typing NA in those sections, and you can move on. If you are a dentistry student, we ask that you complete this and specify your desired dentistry specialty. So you can say orthodontics or etc. If you are not a dentistry student, you can select NA. And for medical students, we ask that you enter in the last 4 institutions you attended. You enter in Florida State, the location, the type of degree you received, and only the month and year from and to you were in school. So we'll say you entered in September of 08 and you left in May of 2012. And you do that for each section. If you only attended one school, then of course the other sections don't apply, so you can select NA. And you would do that for each section. Of course, for students who are not medical students, you do not have to enter in your institutions. You just have to enter in NA for the entire table. And then also, for medical students, we want you to read over the primary care loan program. This is a program for those students who want to commit to primary care when they graduate Howard Medical School. Even if you are not considering the Howard primary care loan program, we do ask that you insert your medical specialty. So we can say pediatrics or whatever it is. And this last question asks if you want to be considered for a primary care loan for the academic year, and you can select yes or no. Again, if you select yes, it doesn't mean that you are contractually obligated to complete anything. It just means that you express an interest. So once you're done, you can just click the sign button and adopt and sign. And if everything is all set, then you should be finished. But notice that this was left blank on purpose. Everything is not set. This is just done to reiterate that every question has to have a value. So we just hit our NA, and down below we have our finish option down here. So once everything is completed, you can review it, and we just hit finish. DocuSign will then send you a confirmation email and then also send you a copy of the document that you completed. We will also have a copy of what you completed. You do not have to email or call us to confirm that we have a copy of your document. Once you hit finish and once you have your confirmation email, we definitely have it as well. Again, if you have, and if you want to download or print what you completed, you can do so here. After you hit continue, you are all done and you are taken back to the Howard main screen. And give us about 24 to 72 hours to review your application. Once it is reviewed, this application will go from the unsatisfied requirement category to the satisfied category, which will be down below. And everything will be settled after that. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to email me at the address that was shown in earlier part of the video, and I will answer any questions. And if you have difficulty completing it, I'll also guide you through that as well. Thank you and have a good day.